Hello, and thank you for tuning in to 1851 Franchises Young Ones to Watch of 2023. Today, I'm joined by Brent Dowling, who is the CEO and co-founder of Raintree, a franchise development firm. Brent, congratulations on your nomination, and thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Cheers, Jeff. Such an honor. So thank you.
Of course. Well, I know you're a busy man, so I'd love to get just right into the questions if you don't mind. Brent, to start, can you share a bit about your journey in the franchise industry and what initially drew you to franchising?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like all my mates in this industry, it was never an intended pit stop along the career path, right? I was working in New York and I was working at the UN actually, and that didn't work out too well. So I moved back to Colorado where I used to snowboard for a living and where my now wife is. And so we moved back to be back with her. And I took the first job I could find, which was like an entry level $12 an hour marketing job for a brand new popcorn franchise retailer in Boulder, Colorado. And long story short, I came in and did the marketing to find franchisees for that brand. My partner, the other co-founder of Raintree, Mike Edwards, handled the sales, and together we sold a few hundred units in the first couple of years working with that brand, and realized, one, that we worked really well, two, that the process of recruiting franchisees and helping people achieve their financial and personal goals was really, really cool. And three, that it's something that we could probably replicate at scale. So from there, we decided, why don't we try and help a number of brands at one time to do what we did? And that was 10 years ago. And since then, I think we've worked with 40 or coming up on 50 brands to develop their franchises from smaller emerging brands into something bigger. And it's been a heck of a journey, but feel like it was just yesterday we got getting started, and here we are today, 10 years later.
And throughout the years, you've developed, quite the resume. You've really solidified your skills and your expertise. What unique approaches or innovations, have you brought now to your role as CEO?
I think, honestly, it sounds like a cop-out, but the one thing that I have done well, I think one of the few things I'd give myself an A on is simply surrounding myself with really smart people in the franchise industry and really, really learning to listen. I worked with guys like Michael Haith and Brad Fishman and, a bunch of, as I said, 40, 50 different founders of franchise brands who were helping, but I was also learning from along the way. And that's what's so cool about this industry. I've found if you're willing to create the right relationships, and more than anything, just listen and watch. There's so much talent in this industry. There's so much opportunity. There's so much you can do within the franchise industry, to the point where, I'm not a terribly smart guy. My wife will tell you that all day long. But simply by surrounding myself with the right people, we've been able to build kind of one of the more reputable franchise development companies in this country. And along the way, somehow I became a franchisee of 3 or 4 brands and a franchisor of 2 brands too. And it's just wild. Again, I put it all down to just being lucky enough to be in the room and then forge some relationships with some really, really smart people in this industry.
Well said. And you said that was almost a cop-out answer, but I disagree. I think that's a very realistic answer, because it's true. The more, mentors and smart people you surround yourself with, I feel, the better off you'll be, the more you'll learn, and the more you'll be able to, follow in their footsteps while taking your own path almost, right? So you've done a lot, Brent, but what are your aspirations within the franchise world?
I think to continue to learn, one. We recently sold a Raintree, or we were acquired by Southfield Capital and Franchise Fastlane, the biggest FSO in the industry. And a big part of that reason was to really put ourselves in the room with some people, again, that are smarter than us, that we felt was smarter than us, that had accomplished a little more and have a little more experience too. And so that's really the focus right now, is to forge the path forward for Raintree, our employees, the brands, and our partners under this new partnership with Fastlane, to provide them with more opportunities while learning more about that process along the way for myself. And so that's where we're focused right now. Supplementally, I think we're just about to launch our newest franchise as a franchisee, and doing a few other things from the investment side too. So yeah, there's a little bit going on, but we're just really excited to continue to move forward in franchising and do it with people we really care about.
Absolutely. And speaking of the future and looking to the future, how do you see the franchise industry evolving over the next few years? Are there any specific trends or trends you see on the horizon?
It's an interesting question. If when I was asked this question a few times, a lot, right, in COVID and coming out of COVID, I was pretty stable in saying I really think this was in 2020, we're coming into some of the biggest growth years in the franchise industry might ever see. And from everything through our vantage point, that's become very true, right? Most of the brands that we work with are having record franchise sales years. So many franchise systems are posting record sales for the franchisee level. There's so much growth and success right now. And I actually do think that's going to continue for a little while yet. Whether a little while means another year or two or 3 or 4, I'm not too sure. But I still think we've got a good amount of run in this historically awesome growth rate that we've all enjoyed for the most part. And I don't think it's a bubble. I don't think that it's purely related to what we're seeing in the economy in terms of interest rates. I think there's some deeper societal impacts that are happening here, those being just a general disillusionment with corporate America and the whole idea of certainly Gen X and millennials too, questioning that notion of, do I really want to work 60 hours a week to just get by and pay my mortgage and make someone else's dreams come true? Or is there something else out there for me? And I think that's a notion that's not going to be short term. That's something that I think is here to stay. And I think franchising will enjoy continued success because of it, because it's true, right? What we do is we provide folks who don't want to end up spending 50, 60 years in a corporate grind, but don't have that entrepreneurial bone, don't have that great idea for their own business. Franchising is the perfect fit. And I think we're going to continue to see more interest in it. I don't think it's a bubble. I don't think we're going to continue to grow like this at the same rate either. But I think something in the middle and a new historically stable growth rate is upon us. And it's such a cool thing to see.
Well said. And I couldn't agree more. I think you hit it on the head, right? During COVID, I think so many people had that realization that, hey, I think there's something else out there for me. I don't know if corporate America is right for me, but they don't have that entrepreneurial spirit. And so they want to venture into becoming a business owner. I think, that is the joy of franchising right there. So you nailed that one, right? Brent, finally, I'd love for you to go back, right? What advice would you have for your younger self?
Oh man, a lot. I made so many mistakes. I think the biggest one is I would just tell myself, relax a little more, right? You're not that important. This is not that important. Nothing's that important to where you work yourself up or you get overly emotional in decision making, certainly as a business owner as well. I think I was sometimes a little, there's no need for extreme or even significant emotion in business, and I sometimes would get a little sad or a little hard on myself or a little upset about certain things. And I think that I would tell myself everything's long term. Understand that this decision or this event is very short term, and you've got to always stay focused on the bigger picture. So just relax. And I think that I see that in a lot of the young folks that I work with too. You can get a little emotional, a little tied to that one outcome or event in the short term, and this is such a long game. So and life's short too, right? So relax, enjoy this ride, and think long term.
Absolutely. Well, very well said, Brent. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. We love hearing from you. And again, I wanted to tell you again, congratulations on your nomination.
Cheers. Thanks, Jeff. Again, really honored and really appreciate everything that you guys do for the industry too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And until next time, thanks for watching.